Hello, good morning. How are you guys doing so far this morning? It is 8:17 on Monday morning. Sorry, I'm blowing off dog hairs from my little dog over there, Roxanne. I have dog hairs everywhere. Don't tell anybody though. It's terrible. She sheds. I don't know if you guys can see her or not. Let me see if I can move this camera. Roxanne, where are you? Can you say hello? Can you say hello? Where are you? Roxanne. Here she is. Here's my girl. This is my baby. She is about 14 years old now. Love her to pieces. That's my girl. But I have been watching YouTube videos. And you know what? I'm going to admit to you right now, I'm homebound. I'm not going to go into details as to why I'm homebound. I've had some physical issues with my health, which is on the mend, hopefully. Although I woke up this morning with a roaring migraine. Every day I wake up with a headache. Every day. Just about. I think one day out of the week I might be lucky and wake up feeling, normal. What I call normal. So that is part of my issue. I've been diagnosed with high blood pressure. I could stand to lose about maybe 20 pounds. I don't know if that would help or not, to be honest, with the blood pressure. But needless to say, we're not going to go into my health issues because I am not just here to discuss that. What I want to do, first of all, is I want to say good morning to a couple people. First of all, I want to say good morning to my brand new subscribers. I have no motive in mind as far as becoming Miss Popular on the block. I have no motive in mind to become, get money. All I want to do here is record my thoughts, my life experiences, my reborns, my interests, and things that, make up my essence, and to make new friends, and to share and just enjoy different perspectives, and and just be able to turn on the computer when I feel like I want to turn on the computer and watch those that are of interest to me, whether it's about homemaking or reborn dolls, doesn't matter. But I want to say good morning to my most favorite person that I like to watch as often as I can. I may be a day late and a dollar short, and sometimes I don't make the live, but I want to say good morning to my little Jen, my sweet little Jen from Belle's Reborn. I want to say good morning to Lori from Lori's Crochet Corner. Those are my two favorites. I want to say good morning to, believe it or not, Sam. I think her lives are called, I think she's called Sam's Channel. And, rough and tumble start in the beginning and everything, and I'm not saying we're best friends or anything, but she had a very interesting discussion on her live the other night about polygamy and Mormonism, the old style Mormonism, and I do have some interesting thoughts about that I may present in a different video and share with Sam. I want to say good morning to Jody from It's a Beautiful Place. Pixie Mommy, oh my God, there's just so many of you that I absolutely want to say I appreciate watching your videos and value your time and your effort that you put into your channels. I really do. I enjoy tremendously just watching. I'll scroll through my YouTube channels, and so many of you out there that in the Reborn community in particular is where I end up meeting a lot of my so-called contacts. I just appreciate it, and sometimes I cry with you guys, I laugh with you guys. Sometimes you're funny and you don't even know you're being funny. That's what I find interesting, just the diverse personalities. But this video is dedicated, if that is such a thing, to Jody from Beautiful Place. Now, do you want to go in there, baby? I think my dog wants to go in there. I'm not sure. You want to come sit with mommy? You want to come sit with mommy? Come on. You come up here. Come on. Anyway, let me show you something real quick before I go into. I want you to see this cute little baby right here. Look. Look at this little darling. I call her Sassy Pants. Because look at her little honey. She's so cute. I might have her diaper. I think, you know what? I think I have her diaper on backwards. That might be why her little hiney is kind of sticking out. But she is absolutely adorable. I had to get her. I've had her for several months now. And I think they have a bunch more, which I'd like to collect. But right now I just don't have a lot of room. But I think she was made in China. Oh my God, heaven forbid. I think she was made in China. Go figure. Got her at Walmart. But I want to dedicate this video to Jody. Because, since I've been doing YouTube videos, which has not been very long. It's not even been a year. It's not, I don't know, maybe it's been 6 months. Excuse me, but and I am starting to figure things out a little bit here and there as I go along. I had some major issues with my my program Filmora, and I'm the type of person, if I have a glitch, I'll just go on the computer and research until I can figure it out myself. And I think I finally figured out what I need to do to get these videos out in a timely manner. I still use Filmora 9 as far as my program. Had I not used Filmora 9, I would have gone with the program that Jen mentioned when she did a tutorial on how to download videos and all of that. She did a wonderful tutorial. Jen is always informative. I love her. And that's not the only reason why I love the girl. So enough said on that, because she is my fave and everybody knows that. She's my candy bar. She's my cup of coffee. She's my lollipop. She's the one that makes me feel good during the day. And her mother, sweetest lady on the earth. Love her to death. Have never met them, maybe one day, but I just love everything that they do. Even as a mother and daughter, when they get frustrated with each other, it's kind of cute to watch, because I never had a mother that had such, you could tell that Jen's mother really loves Jen. Of course she should, because it's her mother, but not every mother loves their kid like that. So even when they act naughty. So Jen is very fortunate to have her mother in her life. So cherish every moment that you have with her, Jen, because time is of the essence, and people that you love, there's no guarantee that they're going to be there for you tomorrow. So that's one of the reasons I'm doing these videos. But going back to Jody, Beautiful Place. I've been watching these videos, and I am going to tell you right now, and if I get a little teary-eyed, it's because I've been going up and down with my health, and I've been taking some new medication, and I think it's messing with my heart a little bit. And I'm talking about my emotions. I'm either crying, laughing, or frustrated. And, until I get everything on an even keel, I haven't really been very stable in my emotions. I'm doing the best I can, but my poor husband. That's all I have to say about that. But anyway, I've been watching Jody from day one. And, at first when I started watching her, and Jody, when I first started watching you, I was, in question. I just wasn't sure your personality and where you were going, with some of your videos and everything. And so, I probably misunderstood some things. But that's okay, because I've come back around, which is what we as women do, that are, forgive, forget, move on. I want to say also good morning to, is it She used to be Reborn blogger. Jen's Gems? Good morning to you, my love. I appreciate you. I love your videos. I think you're cute and you don't even realize you're cute. The last video that I watched on you, you were pretty serious and your eyes got really big, but you look so cute. You were so adorable, and I just kind of, I shouldn't have laughed, but I did laugh because I just thought, she's so cute, you know, because you were just so genuinely serious about what you were saying, and you just reminded me of a little kid in a candy store, you know, like, I don't know, I can't explain it, but anyway, good morning to you. But Jody has been mauled, okay, by many, I guess, in the community. I don't, you know, I wonder, you know, I'm a consumer. I've purchased Reborn baby dolls. It's been probably 5 years. I've been selling a few. I've been kind of weeding out. Do you want to go in there, baby doll? Go ahead. Go ahead, baby. You want to go back in there? You can go in there. Go on. Go on. Come on. I've been collecting. I've never painted a Reborn. I want to show you what I did. I tried to matte this baby because he was shiny and I was going to sell him, but I destroyed his face. His limbs, his legs, and his feet did great, but I made the mistake of putting too much matte, and I tried to get it off, and look what happened. Let me show you. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm not afraid to show you. Look what I did. I ended up trying to get the matte off, and the more I didn't scrub him at first. I just tried to rinse it off, and then I used some acetone, and then I finally just started scrubbing, and I was like, oh my God, look what I have done to this baby. It's horrible. Now his arms and his feet turned out great, but I don't know how I'm going to fix this. He's going to be a boo-boo baby. I was going to sell him for $50. And I'm almost afraid to try to fix it because I am not a Reborn artist. But this is my attempt. Look at that. I'm not ashamed to show you. Don't laugh at me. But, poor little thing. He's so cute, and I messed him up. I mean, he really looked good. The first coat of varnish that I put on him to doll him up, it turned out great. He was fine. But I wanted a little more on him because I was trying to get rid of the shine, you know. And look what I did. I screwed up. I put way too much. I didn't water it down like I did the first time, and it just was real chalky, and it just looked horrible. And I was like, oh no, what have I done? And I tried to get it off. So I don't know if I can fix him or not. I might try, but I'm just not that experienced. But anyway, if I can't fix him, I'm going to sell him. Bless his heart. Maybe some mom that knows how to paint Reborns will take him on. $50 plus $20 shipping. He's a good sized baby. And of course you can probably recognize the kit. I don't know. I forgot the name of the kit. But anywho, that, or you could make him where he's got, you know, sometimes people have that certain skin condition. You could fix it to where it looks like he's got a skin condition, but he's so precious, and I tried to fix him. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I always do. Roxanne, you good girl. Just checking on my dog. Okay, but back to, for the 5th time, to Jody. She has been mauled and highly mistreated by so-called people in the community. And it makes me wonder, what in the world is this community made of? I mean, really, what is this community made of? That people would submit such overly harsh comments to someone who is already under duress because they do have some emotional issues that they're dealing with, already have, you know, maybe some physical ailments plus mental issues, and they're on medication or whatever the case may be, for people to add to their situation and come on strong and just start slamming because of their method of purchasing and making reborns. First of all, I want to say that, Jody, you possess an inner fortitude that defies negatives. I mean, I'm surprised at how quickly, I mean, I could tell one night I watched her video and she was trying so hard to express her feelings, but she got teary-eyed towards the end and she kind of backed away from the camera so we wouldn't see too much of her distress. And I just started to cry because I felt so sorry. I felt so bad. I felt so sorry for her. I wanted to just give her a big hug. I mean, I just thought to myself, so insensitive and so unkind that people are towards someone, you know, who did not deserve to be bashed like that. You know, I know everybody talks about, well, it's the word bully, the word, you know, obsessed, you know, all these certain terms that have been said in the past, that we're overusing those terms, and drama and this and that. But I don't know what else you can call what Jody was put through other than being bullied. Absolutely being bullied. You know, and she I mean, she possessed, you know, she was hurt, devastated, really came down on herself because she allowed the negatives to reflect in such a way that she started to feel like, you know, well, maybe I am a bad person. Maybe I am not good enough. Maybe I am, you know, a mess. Maybe I am trash. Maybe I am this or that. And she had all these negative, you know, thoughts towards herself because the cruelty of people coming online and bashing her and bullying her and treating her like she was a non-entity. I just, you know, I was just devastated for her. And ever since I can remember as a kid, even in school, and I've mentioned this before, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back because I have an issue with self-esteem. I have an issue because of the way I was raised, the way I was treated, the way I was brought up. You know, I had to fight my way through, and I still fight my way through to believe that I am a worthy person, that I am a talented person. You know, I'm not one to brag on myself, and when I do, I feel really awkward about it, and that's why it's hard for me to be receptive to people being kind or sending me gifts or happy mail or anything, because I'm not used to that. I'm not used to being appreciated in that manner. And I'm a giver, not a taker or a receiver. I'm a giver. But I was just amazed, you know, that Jody, you came through despite the dark cesspool of mess that was slung at you like that. You know, her mental health does not mean that she's weak. You know, just because people have, you know, issues with their mental health or their physical health or whatever the case may be, that doesn't mean they're weak. That doesn't mean that they can't stand up for themselves, and you know, they might get beat down for a little while, but, you know, after a while they're going to, you know, enough is enough, you know. And I personally applaud Jody because she managed to rise above it and she has found such joy and happiness in her. She made her new doll Dennis, which he is adorable. She's in love with him to this point where he is so cute, and he lends a piece of happiness to her, and a piece of, or a sense of accomplishment, and a sense of productiveness. And also he gives her the company that she craves and that she needs and that she wants and that she deserves. And there is nothing wrong with that, okay? Now, I'm going to go into this thing with the kits and the stealing of the kits and the kickoffs and all that. But, at this point, I'm talking about the approach that people take. They feel that they're at liberty to say whatever they want to say because they're hiding behind the computer. And, I wonder quite often, if you were standing in front of Jody, would you say those things to her face? Would you stand there and lower your character and express to her such ugly thoughts and such ugly comments and statements? Could you do that? Could you really do that over something like that, as far as her alternative approach to making Reborns? Would you be able to really do that? I couldn't stand there and do that unless, the only way that I've ever been in that confrontational is if I've been pushed by someone that has continually, dug a hole and threw me in it so many times, that after a while you just can't take it anymore, and that person deserves to be put in their place. And I've had occasions where I've had to do that, but to just get on there and flippantly make some nasty remark without any consideration towards the sentiment of the person you're saying it to, what? I'm sure your parents brought you up better than that, and if they didn't, you would think that you would learn through the experiences of life that it's not acceptable. Manners and being polite never go out of style. I'm not saying you have to lie. I'm not saying you have to camouflage. I'm not saying you have to turn a blind eye if you feel a certain kind of way about a certain kind of situation. But there are ways that you can express yourself and bring your thought across without it stabbing somebody in the heart, like as was done to Jody. I mean, come on. It just broke my heart. It really did. And and I'd say, when Jen was going through what she was going through, Sam, whatever, I really felt for them, because I've always felt an empathy towards the underdog, so to speak. Not that Sam's an underdog or Jen's an underdog or Jody's an underdog. I'm just saying I have always been one to protect if I felt that someone was being bullied or pushed into a corner without giving them the opportunity, to maybe understand and learn, and those that are in the community, especially you older, more seasoned artists, perhaps, maybe some of the grandmothers of the Reborn community, so to speak, should step up and educate the younger folks in the Reborn community on the etiquettes of using good manners and grace. You can be blunt. This is 2019, 2020. I mean, we can tell it like it is, but I still have to embrace the fact that there are certain ways to approach adverse or contrary situations without slicing and dicing and ripping somebody's heart out and putting it on a silver platter and then trying to give it back to them. What are they supposed to do? How do you think they're going to react? Everybody reacts differently to those kind of situations, but I mean, it's insane. And this is going to probably be a longer video than I intended for it to be, because it's early and I've got things to do. I've got to go to Havelock today to go talk to my lawyer. I've got other things I've got to do, but her mental health, Jody's mental health, does not mean she's weak. So don't misjudge her character. Don't assume that you guys are going to push her nose into the dirt and she's going to tolerate that. She's not. Okay? So there are constructive methods that are available to those of you who claim to be in the community, to where you feel like you have the right to smash and dash and insult someone, not only publicly but also privately. Now, publicly is bad enough because everybody and their mother can see the comment, but when you go to the truck, see, I've been wanting to get up with Jody on a private note, and like I said, I'm still learning, so I don't know where in the world to put a comment to her on a private note to let her know that I support her situation that she's going through right now. Right or wrong, I still support her and her predicament as far as her emotions and her status as a human being, as a person who deserves some respect and deserves a little bit of dignity, people. And, you know, I don't even know how to do that. But evidently some people have managed to crawl through the sewage pipe and leave her private messages furthering their ugly comments and insulting her. So not only is she getting it on a public basis, but she's getting it on a private basis. And I wish I could get in there and do a private comment to her to let her know I support her. But I'm doing a public broadcast. This video is dedicated to Jody. Again, a beautiful place, okay? Because it is wrong, it's unfair, it's unjust for her to be knifed the way she has been knifed. Okay, ladies, grow up and figure out some kind of way, a different approach. But maybe some people are so stuck on stupid, they just, you know, they just feel like they can say and do whatever, you know. Jody has chosen constructive methods of coping with her situation as far as being lonely and having some, you know, mental and emotional issues, by investing her time and her talent and what little bit of money that she might incur in the art of reborning. And she makes it clear, people, she makes it clear. Now listen, if she has an alternative approach to making reborns, that is her personal choice, her personal freedom, because she's taking her money and investing it accordingly. Not everybody can afford to go out and spend even $100 on a low-end reborn by an artist, reborn artist in the community, who buys their kits from Bountiful Baby or McPherson's or wherever they may get them, whether they get them secondhand online through a secondhand, somebody has a bunch of kits and they don't have time to make them, whatever. But you know, she is investing her time, her talent, and her money into a therapeutic endeavor that's going to lend a sense of peace and accomplishment and joy into her life. And, you know, I understand what she means when she says people drain her, like when if she takes the babies out in public and, you know, everybody and their mother wants to come up and talk to her. I'm that type of person in that I get drained easily. I mean, I don't mind going out in public because I know I can just walk away, you know, and I think that's why I don't have a lot of live friends that come over. I had a few friends that come over for coffee, but I don't have the energy to divulge myself into a relationship with someone. It's hard enough having a relationship with my husband and my grandchildren and my daughter and my son and my sons, their wives, whatever. You know, my little inner circle. I don't have enough time as is to invest in them. And I love them. You know, that's my family. Let alone trying to add more to my life by going out and having friends, you know, involved to the point where I feel like I'm drained. I just can't do it. You know, I'm very particular. It's kind of like my inner circle. And of course, I love my contacts online. And that's one of the main reasons I'm online. But that's a whole different story. But I get drained. And so, you know, Jody chooses to do what she does for her pleasure, her enjoyment, her gratification, an expression of her talent. And she's even mentioned with time, you're gonna have to excuse the bird, you guys know she always wants to run her mouth when I start talking, but you know, she is not making these reborns to sell. Okay, that's one big plus that somebody out there who has taken the time to send her ugly messages, whether it's private or public, need to realize that Jody's making her babies for herself. So if she chooses to use rocks or sand or pebbles, you know, I don't know, whatever. I've not seen her put a reborn together, but I do know she uses alternative methods, but it's for her personal benefit, for her personal enjoyment, you know. And if she's on a limited income, I'm sorry. You know, you've heard her mention she doesn't have air conditioning. That's, you know what, that's not my business to judge her and say, well, why don't you just take some of that money that you spend on those reborn kits and buy you an air conditioner. Well, I don't know her circumstances. I don't know her financial status. I know that in Canada, from what I've been told, you know, the funds are generated a little bit different. Like, I'm on Social Security, so I get a check once a month. And I'm also able to work if I so choose, but I can only make a certain amount of money. And I will be working eventually with my adopted family in their restaurant, and that will help me gain more income if I so choose to spend it on whatever. But, you know, in the U.S., the Social Security situation is different. Now, a friend of mine, or used to be a friend of mine, told me that, you know, her checks come in, like every 3 months she'll get a check. And it doesn't amount to much. It's like 100 and some odd. And I don't know what Jody's situation is financially, but in her mind, and the way the system is set up in Canada, you know, it's not like where I can just go down the street and go to a free clinic if I feel like I'm going to lose my mind and I feel like I want to commit suicide, which she's not said she wants to commit suicide, so don't misunderstand that. But there are places available to us in dire emergencies that we in the U.S. can go to for help. But in Canada, it's different. You know, there's a long-standing list that they have to wait. There's transportation issues. I don't remember if Jody mentioned that somebody stole her bike, or she has to use a bike to get around. Come on, people. She's doing the best that she can, and it's obvious that she's a clean, decent person. When she does her videos in her home, you can see her home is nice and clean and neat, and you know, come on, she's not a bum. So she's doing the best she can. I'm sure she has to pay some sort of something for her rent and her electricity. I mean, I don't know her financial status. I don't need to know her financial status. It's none of my business. But it's obvious that she's doing the best that she can. And if she so chooses to invest in a hobby based on what she can afford, that's her right. That's her prerogative. Because this hobby is exclusively for her. She's not selling these babies. I mean, I'm certain that if I did sell a doll once that I had put some weight in, and it wasn't the glass beads, and I don't remember, but you know, the doll was put together well, and it was already made, but I wanted a little more weight. But the doll, when I sold the doll, I sold her cheaper then, and I also told the buyer what I did. I was honest about it, and she still purchased the baby. If she did, let's just say if Jody did sell one of her babies, I'm sure that she's not going to lie and say, well, I use glass beads and this, and this, or pellets or whatever. I mean, you know, I'm sure she's going to be honest about the content of what's in that baby, because the person she's going to sell the baby to is probably going to get the baby cheaper anyway because of the alternative materials that were used to make it, to reborn the baby. So I feel Jody would be honest about it, but I don't foresee that she's going to be selling her baby, okay, or any of her babies at this point. And right now, Dennis is the love of her life, and it's bringing her such joy. You can see when you watch her videos, people, you can see the peace and the joy on her face. I mean, it touches my heart. Call me a snowflake. I don't even know what that means. Sam, tell me what that means. But I'm assuming a snowflake is something like someone delicate and someone that's fragile that can melt at the touch of a fingerprint, you know, someone who's sensitive. Well, call me a snowflake. I'll claim it, because I feel like it brings her such joy and happiness. It makes me happy. When I saw her cry, it made me cry. You know, you can tell when people are putting on the dog or when they're faking it. And oh my God, I just, you know, I can't stand to see a sincere situation where someone's crying because people are being abusive. Just stop it already. Just stop it. Show some kindness. And again, I'm going into the counterfeit thing. As far as the issue of sculpt stealing, okay, this is something that was already said by Jody as well as Sam. And I'm going to tell you what I did. I wrote, and Sam can verify this, and I'm not saying me and Sam are the best of friends, but I do want to say I did appreciate her last live when she was talking about the Mormonism thing. But, you know, let bygones be bygones. You know, Jen's always going to be my baby. And Lori's always going to be one of my favorites. I mean, that's never going to change, people. But I can still be courteous to Sam and move on, okay? I wish nobody any ill will in this community. But I wrote Sam, and I thought she might mention it, but she didn't. And it's okay, because, you know, pat myself on the back a little bit, polish my halo, and clip my wings. I wrote Sam, and I said, Sam, you know, because she's so forthright, and y'all know she's controversial, and she has no problem expressing, you know, her view, her perspective. And I said, Sam, can you please say something to Jody about Jody in this situation of her being, you know, pushed into the mud by the community or those in the community. I'm not going to say the whole community is against Jody, but you know, I wanted Sam to say something. I said, maybe I'm just too cowardly to say something right now, because I am just shocked and appalled. And I've always been one to stand up for someone who is being backed into a corner, whether that person is right or wrong. It's not my place to beat somebody up like that. So, but maybe y'all are like, well, you're sitting right here beating up the community over Jody, and she's using counterfeit sculpts, and she's using sculpts that are stolen, and you know. But no, I'm not. I'm telling you my perspective, not my truth, but my perspective on how I feel about this whole situation. So I wrote Sam an email unbeknownst to Jody, because I don't know how to get up with Jody other than right on her her page, and she's done a live here and there, and I've tried to get in. I've gotten in there and said a few things, but she hasn't acknowledged my presence as yet. Just an oversight. I'm not taking it personal. And I said, please, Sam, can you just say a little something, you know, about this situation, because, you know, she's always talking about the community and how there's a lot of negatives there, and I felt she could expound on that a little bit better than I could with her beautiful vocabulary endeavors. And she did make some comments, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Sam, for doing that. And of course, surprisingly, one of the videos that I happened to be on that was alive with Jody, you actually came on, and she mentioned you. Jody mentioned your name, and I thought, is that Sam from Sam's channel? So I was happy, and I noticed that I think there were a couple times you came on 2 different lives, and I was like, wow, awesome, because Jody needs support from someone who's a little more forthright, that can get out there and spank those of you that are being really hateful. So, you know, if Jody chooses to put time, effort, and money into purchasing Reborn kits, okay, from Amazon or wherever, you know, it's not her place to determine. It's legal for her to go to that site. Amazon being what? The king of retail, okay? The ultimate, the god of retail, okay? She's going in there and purchasing based on what they are selling, and she's looking at her different price ranges and purchasing what she can afford and making reborns for her benefit, for her happiness, for her contentment, for her to have a sense of company so she doesn't feel alone, you know. And it's not her fault or her place, you know, to determine and go after Amazon necessarily. I mean, I'd like to see somebody go after Amazon for selling kickoffs. Okay, that's where the focus needs to be, but nobody's going to do it. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Amazon is filthy, filthy, filthy rich. Amazon is number one. Amazon is the god of the universe in retail. And it would take quite a lot of money for somebody to go after them for selling kickoff kits or stolen kits or whatever you want to call it. So instead of going after the companies that are selling these kits, you're going after the poor person who has no power whatsoever to combat the situation, and you go after her and you attack her and push her face into the dirt and kick her into the hole and try to cover her up with septic tank liquid and insults and whatever else, and stir the stink pot and try to make her feel like she's the villain and she's a thief and she's unscrupulous. And that's not the case at all. Go after Amazon. You know, write a letter. Good luck with that, because it isn't going to change anything. They're too big. They're too strong. They're too mighty. Okay? They're everywhere. All over the world. Amazon. Good luck. Because it's not going to change. You know? We need to go to the very foundation of those that sell these type of kits. Go to the foundation. Where does Amazon get their kits that are considered knockoffs? Go, that's where the bottom line, you know, there's always a base, and then, you know, it's like a pyramid. You know, where do they, Amazon as a whole, where do they get those kickoffs? If nothing else, go after the ground, go after the foundation of where these reborns come from. Now, I went online and I went to a well-renowned site for reborns, purchasing reborns, and there are some good deals that Bountiful Baby does offer, but again, it's in the United States. So I'm gonna tell you, I just mailed a package with 2 babies. Oh, and I forgot to say, Jessica Love, good morning. Thank you for buying 2 of my babies, you sweet thing. She is the sweetest thing. But, and I forgot you. I'm sorry, honey. But listen, it cost, I know Jessica won't mind, $70 to mail 2 babies to Canada. $70 to mail 2 babies. The box only weighed, oh, I can't remember, it was 6 pounds, 5.5 pounds, I can't remember. I won't tell you for sure because I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but I just mailed 2 babies to her a few days ago to Canada, Ontario. It is so expensive, okay? So going to a well-renowned company in the United States for Jody to buy a kit is prohibitive. Even if the kit is only like, they had a sale, I noticed, on the Joseph the chunky baby, I think, asleep, and he was very reasonably priced. And, you know, I could afford to do so as far as purchasing him, but I don't know what it would cost for somebody who lives in Canada. And then people are like, well, McPherson's, they're in Canada, but I haven't researched them. But here's the thing. The major companies that sell kits in the United States, where do they get their kits from? Where does the materials come from? Okay, so there's someone, like say I put together a baby, a sculpt using clay, and then I have the doll rendered in vinyl. I don't know how all that works, okay? I'm ignorant about that, so don't laugh at my ignorance and make fun of me for that. But let's just say I made a clay baby. It's really cute, really nice, top quality, and I go and get it rendered in vinyl, and then a major company that sells reborn kits here in the United States takes on the kit and sells it. Where does the vinyl come from? Where does the vinyl come from that is used and poured to make these vinyl babies? Or where does the silicone come from that is used to make these babies? Where does the clay come from that's used to make these babies? Where does the equipment that is purchased, those big honking machine things that you use, I guess, to take out air bubbles, I'm not sure the whole process. Let's just say all the equipment that's utilized to make a silicone or a vinyl baby, where does it come from? Is all of the equipment utilized made in the United States? Think about that. So I tried to find out the source, and I couldn't find the source. I couldn't find the answer to my question. A well-renowned company that sells vinyl kits, where do they get the vinyl? Where do they get their supplies with which to sell in the United States? Does the mohair all come from the U.S.? Does it come from Australia? Does it come from China? Does it come from, New Zealand? Where does the hair come from? The mohair. Where does the human hair come from? Where do the eyes that go into the reborns come from? Is everything that is utilized to make these reborns from the United States? I mean, I'm all game for buy US, but I mean, everything, probably more than half of the mess that's in my house comes from China. I might have bought it from Hobby Lobby, or I might have bought it from Michael's, or I might have bought it from, Sears and Roebuck, or I might have bought it from Target or wherever. But I'm going to tell you right now that not everything is US made. And just like Crocs, I was thinking about the Crocs, the name brand Crocs. I don't know where they're made, where they come from. But then there's the kickoff Crocs. I can go on down to the Dollar General and buy me a pair of plastic Croc-like shoes that will last me just as long as the name brand Crocs for $20 less. Have you priced what Crocs cost, especially here in the eastern North Carolina area? Everybody likes to wear Crocs. When I worked at the hospital, all my nurses wore Crocs. And it had to be name brand, but I didn't always wear name brand Crocs because I can't afford to buy the name brand, so I would buy the kickoffs. And I could get them in any color I wanted, and I only paid anywhere from $5 to $8 for a pair of Crocs. And I could throw them right in the washing machine and everything after I got off work from the hospital, and there you go, brand new again. They never fell apart on me, as far as I know. Another example, rainbows. Everybody here loves to wear rainbows. And have you ever priced rainbows here in the eastern North Carolina? Expensive unless you get them on sale. And so some people choose to buy the authentic rainbows, and others choose to buy the kickoffs. you know, you got to stop and think about the situation. Now, I understand if I'm an artist and I have made a specific sculpt and it's my art, my effort, my creativity, and I sell that kit. Like I said, I don't know how it all works, but you know, I sell that kit, okay? And it's mass produced through a major company in the United States, okay? There's always going to be the risk of someone else copying. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right, but there's always going to be that risk that after you've made your money and after you've sold your artistic endeavor, someone else is going to come along and they're going to do a copy. They're going to make a copy. It's just what happens. It's kind of a dual-edged sword because it's a compliment and it's an insult, because you feel like, well, they're robbing my work, they're robbing my design, but yet at the same time, if your design wasn't up to par, they wouldn't even bother with it, you know. But you can't control, you know, what is the word? Not retail, but you can't control every financial endeavor when it comes to, you know, name brand versus kickoff. I mean, there's always going to be kickoffs. Now, aesthetically, not aesthetically, but it's not, what's the word? You know, it may not be correct. It may not be, I can't even think of the word, but, you know, it may not be kosher. It may not be courteous and kosher, but it's going to happen. You know, you're going to have your name brand rainbows and you're going to have your kickoff rainbows. That is just what mercantile retail people do. It's all about the dollar. It's all about the money. That's all it is. It's all about the money. You've got people that purchase art, and you've got the authentic, and then you've got something over here that looks similar, but it's not authentic, but the price ranges are different. You know, someone has decided to take something and make a copy, so to speak, for retail benefit, but that's just the way it is. That is free enterprise. That's the word I was looking for. Free enterprise. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's courteous. I'm not saying it's ethical. Okay? But that's how it is. But don't go after. Now I've been out on the street and somebody's come up to me, to my car, with merchandise that, you know, watches and jewelry, and try to sell it. And it's obvious they've stolen the merchandise. It's you know, it was an improperly gained. They stole it, you know, and they didn't pay anything for it, whatever, and then they're trying to, you know, resell it. You know, that's a whole different area, you know. But if I made a kit and sold that kit to a major company, and they mass produced that kit in the United States legally, whatever, you know, the money that I've made on selling that kit and the reproduction of that kit, and it's divvied out all over the United States, you know, you can be assured that there is going to be someone who is going to use the free enterprise and come up with a kit similar, a twin copy. I mean, you can't help it. That's just what it is. And, you know, I've tried to research. I want to know where all the source of the materials come from. I really do. I want to know, where does McPherson, for example, where do they get their kits? Where do they get their supplies? Is everything that they sell within their company, not that I'm wanting to shame anybody, where does it all come from? Does it all come from the United States? Does it all come from Canada? I mean, where is the legitimacy here? You know, you have to do your research. And you've got to go all the way down to the very bottom rung and find out where it comes from. You know, we have wigs for women here that have cancer, bald-headed, lost their hair, and they buy wigs. Well, not all the wigs are made in the United States, I'm sorry to say. And a lot of the hair comes from the Oriental countries. A lot of the hair comes from the U.S. as well. I mean, it's a personal preference. And Jody, you know, is not the criminal here. I'm sorry, she's just not. If she was selling the Reborns within the Reborn community and was deceptive about her alternative methods or her alternative supplies that she uses, if she run down to the Dollar Tree and gets her some sand and puts it in a bag or puts it in a sock or something like that, and then tries to sell the doll and omits the fact that that's what she used, or she lies and says she used glass pellets or something like that, or polyester pellets, yes, that's wrong. But she is making these dolls for her own personal benefit. Monetary value is the basic consideration of all purchases. And if you can afford, you know, high dollar Reborns, and you can afford to pay someone else to make your babies for you, or you can afford the top notch, you know, whatever, or you can even afford $300, $400 baby, whatever, mid-range, low-range, high-range, great, fantastic, but not everybody can do that. Here's the thing, because we can't go after Amazon or we can't go after the big companies, we decide instead we're going to go to the grassroots level, which is people like you and myself, and start bashing and complaining, but that doesn't change anything. You know, it's kind of like, well, I can't go to the boss and complain to him, but I'm going to go to the secretary and I'm going to ream her out. Well, you're barking up the wrong tree. The secretary has no power and no control. It's the boss that has the power and the control. You need to go to the source, you know. And so because those of us in the community that have chosen to bash Jody feel like, well, we can't go after Amazon, you know, and I can't go after these other companies that are selling these babies. Let me just go after the person that's buying them. Let me bash the small person. Let me go after the little guy. And that doesn't change anything. It's counterproductive. Attacking people like that on a negative level is counterproductive. It's not going to do a thing. It's not going to change anything. It's called gang rape. It's called blackballing. Blackballing. It's called mass persecution. And Jody doesn't deserve that. So I've been almost an hour here, but I just want to say, y'all, be nice. Go to the source. Leave Jody, let Jody be. Let her have her little corner of the world to be happy. Everybody deserves to be happy. Everybody deserves to have peace of mind. Everybody deserves to live their lives accordingly. And I think a lot of y'all should apologize. I think you should apologize and go to the source. Go after the big guys. Let's see how far that gets you. Don't attack don't attack people like Jody that are on a limited income and just, you know, I'm on a limited income. You think my husband's going to accept the fact that I'm going to spend $600 on a doll? Are you crazy? No, he's not going to do that. And if I do, I'm not going to tell him, because, which I wouldn't anyway at this point in my life, because I'm not working, and I barely make, you know, that on my Social Security. So, you know, more information than you need to know, but I'm just saying, be nice. Send Jody some happy mail. I don't even know if there's any way to do that. She has been so insulted and so persecuted that she can't even divulge her a mailing address. I would love to send her some happy mail. If she would get a P.O. box, Jody, if that's what you do, let me know. Or at least email me so I can email you back. And let you know that I'm sorry, and I'm apologizing for all those women who have insulted and berated you. And you just keep on doing what you want to do, honey. And you have a supporter in me. I know you've been misunderstood and you've been persecuted, but you know what? In this community, we should have no enemies unless it's truly justified. And Jody is not one of the enemies, people.